This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. Good morning, I'm John Trout. It's Friday, October 10th, 2025. Here's what's coming up on America in the Morning.
Hope and celebration as the plan to end the Gaza-Israel war advances. I'm Steve Futterman.
The government shutdown drags on, and frustrated lawmakers say,
"This is absurd.
This is the longest time."
Do you want me to answer the question?
Sagar Meghani, Washington.
New York Attorney General Letitia James indicted.
That his only goal is political retribution.
I'm Clayton Neville.
Dominion Voting Systems has a new name and a new owner. Then state troopers hurt in a high-speed Pennsylvania chase.
On Wall Street, markets are coming off a day in the red. Gold even pulled back yesterday, too. I'm Jessica Ettinger.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating Tesla's self-driving feature. I'm Ed Donahue.
All ahead on America in the Morning. As Palestinians in Gaza welcome the end to the fighting, Israelis are anxiously awaiting the return of hostages who've been held by terrorists for more than 2 years since the Israeli-Hamas war began. Steve Futterman reports that President Trump will head to the Middle East for the Gaza ceasefire signing.
In many parts of the Middle East on Thursday, there were celebrations. These in Israel, these celebrations in Gaza. After 2 years of death and destruction, yesterday it seemed the emotionally exhausted civilians on both sides just wanted it all to end.
It's such a good feeling, and I really hope it will happen. I mean, we are very excited.
The peace plan, at least the first part of the peace plan, appears ready to take place. In this first phase, there will be a halt of hostilities and a release of all the hostages being held in Gaza. President Trump at the White House was optimistic.
This is a great plan. This is a great peace plan. This is a plan that was supported by everybody.
And Trump expressed thanks to all who played a role in getting to this point.
The whole world came together for this, even Iran, and I really thank them for it. Iran came out and said this is a good thing. This is a very good thing.
The president is expected to travel to Israel this weekend. He hopes to greet all or some of the hostages if, as expected, they are released on Monday or Tuesday. The plan also calls for Trump to address Israel's Knesset. There have been congratulations from leaders and diplomats from around the world, including UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres.
I commend the diplomatic efforts of the United States, Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey in brokering the desperately needed breakthrough. We have all waited far too long for this moment. Now we must make it truly count.
Despite all the hope, it is the Middle East, and there are always potential roadblocks. The number one concern right now is the ceasefire, and there's distrust on both sides. Hamas distrusts Israel, Israel distrusts Hamas. If the ceasefire holds, though, there is a chance this deal may turn out to be as good as its supporters say it is. But again, some caution. It is the Middle East. I'm Steve Futterman.
Tensions running higher each passing day of the government shutdown that's now in its second week. Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports the blame game is in full display between Republicans and Democrats, and even between the House and Senate, as President Trump threatens to begin to cut Democrat-supported programs if the shutdown continues.
The government shutdown drags on, and frustrated lawmakers say a lack of trust is making a solution tough.
We're only going to cut Democrat programs. I hate to tell you. I guess that makes sense. But we're only cutting Democrat programs. But we're going to start that, and we'll be cutting some very popular Democrat programs that aren't popular with Republicans, frankly, because that's the way it works.
Both sides are facing the reality relations are badly broken. There have been Capitol hallway confrontations this week.
This is absurd.
This is the longest time.
Do you want me to answer the question?
Like Arizona Democrats getting into it with House Speaker Mike Johnson.
This gets personal. Emotions are high. People are upset. I'm upset. I'm a very patient man, but I am very angry right now because this is dangerous stuff. And so, is it better for them probably to be physically separated right now? Yeah, it probably is, frankly. I wish that weren't the case. But we do have to turn the volume down. The best way to turn the volume down is to turn the lights back on and get the government open for the people. Do the right thing.
Democrat counterpart Hakeem Jeffries has had his own tense exchanges with Republicans.
It's time for House Republicans to get back in town, get to the negotiating table, and get real about reopening the government. Unfortunately, to date, what we've seen from Republicans is an unwillingness to actually sit down and find a common sense bipartisan path forward.
The House remains out, and the Senate failed for a 7th time to pass a government funding bill.
Mr. President, this isn't a political game. Democrats might feel that way, but I don't know of anybody else that does.
Every day that Republicans refuse to negotiate to end this shutdown, the worse it gets for Americans, and the clearer it becomes who's fighting for them. Each day, our case to fix health care and end the shutdown gets better and better.
With no obvious sign of significant progress, deadlines now loom. Active duty troops would miss a paycheck next week if there's no deal. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
New York's Attorney General indicted. When America in the Morning continues after these messages. This is America in the Morning. It appears to be a soggy weekend for most of us across the country. Here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist LaTroy Thornton.
There are two distinct areas, mainly to the west of the Rockies, where dry conditions might be rather limited today, thanks to two separate storms setting up in the western U.S. Starting with the northwestern states, the latest disturbance gradually pushing onshore through the day today will mean some steady rain near the coast from far northern California through Washington, perhaps even extending into north-central parts of that state. Showers try to make it farther inland from there, but have a hard time advancing overall, reaching northeastern Washington, central Oregon, perhaps even northern parts of California's Central Valley by late in the day. To the south and east of there, the Four Corners region will again be the focus for some heavier precipitation as showers and thunderstorms are enhanced by tropical moisture from the former Hurricane Priscilla off the Mexican coast. That moisture will be wrung out within numerous rounds of downpours continuing through Saturday, with storm total rainfall of up to 4 inches for parts of Arizona, southern Utah, and southwestern Colorado through Saturday night, and at least an inch of generally welcome rain from the California-Arizona border to far southern Nevada, eastern Utah, western Colorado, and northwestern New Mexico. A cold front brings the risk for a spotty thunderstorm around central Missouri today, with showers to the north and east from there across much of eastern Wisconsin and Michigan as well. More substantial rain may be expected over much of the Florida peninsula as a front remains overhead, and as a storm organizes in relation to this front off the southeast coast, showers and steadier rain work their way to the Carolina coastline today, along with gusty onshore winds that may bring beach erosion and coastal flooding. In Pensacola, Florida, today brings increasing sunshine, lower humidity, and less warmth, high 82. For Provo, Utah, watch out for showers and a thunderstorm around today, the high 75. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist LaTroy Thornton.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Simply search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. New York Attorney General Letitia James says she's being targeted by President Trump following an indictment against her and what she's calling a perversion of our system of justice. Correspondent Clayton Neville has more on the story.
New York Attorney General Letitia James was indicted on mortgage fraud charges on Thursday in the Eastern District of Virginia. She believes that President Trump is out to get her and posted a video online after the indictment came down.
These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution.
The animosity between James and President Trump is nothing new. The two have been outspokenly critical of one another. James won a legal battle surrounding alleged fraud against the Trump Organization. The case was later thrown out, though, by an appeals court. Democrats accused President Trump of targeting his political enemies.
Donald Trump has turned the Justice Department into his personal attack dog.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said that he spoke to James.
I told her what I thought was being done to her was outrageous, and we talked about how they had twisted and turned every bit of honor in the Justice Department inside out.
In a statement, James called the charges baseless and said that she'll fight them aggressively. She said she'll also continue to, quote, fiercely protect New Yorkers and their rights. I'm Clayton Neville.
Dominion Voting Systems, the election vendor that was falsely accused of rigging the 2020 election, is being sold. A Missouri-based election technology company whose owner is a former GOP election official will rebrand the company as Liberty Vote. Dominion Voting Systems was embroiled in controversy after being falsely accused of attempting to steal votes from President Trump. News outlets like Fox News and Newsmax amplified the claims and later were on the receiving end of massive litigation. Fox News reached a $787.5 million settlement in the case, while Newsmax settled for $67 million. When we return on America in the Morning, fewer economy seats means higher pricing for air travelers when America in the Morning continues after these messages. Wrapping up the first full week of trading on Wall Street, here's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger with Friday Business.
Wall Street opens this morning after markets pulled back from record highs yesterday. The Dow fell more than 200 points. Boeing shares led it lower. They were down 3%.
Not really raising some kind of a flare and saying, be careful here, but it does show you that the market's a bit uneven. It's just sort of hesitating above the 6,700 level.
CNBC's Mike Santoli. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon out with a warning for investors. He spoke with the BBC.
You don't see a crash coming? You don't see a correction coming?
I am far more worried about that than others. So if you said, I'm talking about probabilities, I would give it a higher probability than I think is probably priced in the market and by others.
Gold retreated yesterday from its record high on Wednesday. It dropped below $4,000 an ounce yesterday. Levi Strauss reported a stronger than expected quarter after the closing bell last night.
The denim maker has been on a hot streak. It's captured some cultural moments, including Beyonce, Timothée Chalamet. Denim also in a strong cycle. Levi shares have well outperformed the broader S&P 500 since it last reported on July 10th.
CNBC's Courtney Reagan. Delta Airlines out with better than expected quarterly results. The airline has been catering to premium flyers. Delta CEO Ed Bastian tells CNBC, when it comes to airfares, there are fewer economy seats now, less supply, which means ticket prices could stay higher.
There were way too many seats in the marketplace earlier this year chasing low-end consumers, and now I think that's getting a better balance. But I don't think the work is done yet.
Delta CEO Ed Bastian on CNBC. PepsiCo reported strong quarterly results as international markets fueled its sales growth. American consumers pulled back their spending in September in the new CNBC NRF spending monitor. The National Federation of Retailers says maybe people were conserving cash in September to have more to spend for the holidays.
Consumers hit the pause button in September after 2 months of gains. Hopes are that it's a pause that refreshes ahead of this approaching holiday season. The monitor, which is powered by real credit card spending data from Affinity Solutions, dropping 0.7%. For the month, there was both widespread and steep declines. 7 of the 12 categories fell, with 1 unchanged. The declines were led by furniture, restaurants and bars and general merchandise, electronics and appliances, the 6th decline in a row.
CNBC's Steve Leisman. Taylor Swift's new album has broken the record for the most first-week album sales in history. Billboard says The Life of a Showgirl sold more than 3.5 million units, beating the record set back in 2015 by Adele. On today's watch list, it's light on economic data, but we get the latest on consumer sentiment.
All right, thank you, CNBC's Jessica Ettinger. Tesla driverless cars under the federal microscope when America in the Morning continues after these messages. You're with America in the Morning. An alleged theft and police chase ends with 2 state troopers seriously wounded and a suspect dead in Pennsylvania. More on the story from correspondent Jennifer King.
Pennsylvania State Police say 2 troopers are hospitalized in serious and critical condition after they were shot during a pursuit in South Franklin County. Responding to a call about a theft at a Dick's Sporting Goods, the troopers pursued a suspect vehicle and eventually stopped it using spike strips. Police say 2 women came out and were taken into custody, but a man inside started shooting, and the suspect was killed by return fire. Governor Josh Shapiro praised the state's law enforcement, posting that he and his wife are praying for the 2 troopers shot in the line of duty in Chambersburg. I'm Jennifer King.
Software is under the microscope of federal investigators looking into reports of Tesla driverless cars running red lights, smashing into trains, and driving on the wrong side of the road. Correspondent Ed Donahue reports.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating Tesla's self-driving feature. This is not the first time federal regulators have looked into Tesla's so-called full self-driving mode. NHTSA says there were 58 incidents in which Tesla reportedly violated traffic safety laws, leading to more than a dozen crashes and fires and nearly 24 injuries. Many of the drivers say the cars gave no warning. NHTSA opened an investigation last year after several Teslas crashed in fog and other low-visibility conditions, including one in which a pedestrian was killed. There is another investigation of technology that allows drivers to tell their cars to drive to their location to pick them up. There were reports of several fender benders in parking lots. The investigations could change Elon Musk's plan to turn millions of his cars already on the road into completely driverless vehicles with an over-the-air update to their software. I'm Ed Donahue.
America in the Morning for Friday, October 10th, 2025 is produced by Jeff McKay. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One. This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. I'm John Trout. Coming up this half hour.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker slams President Trump as his state is asking a judge to stop the National Guard deployment. I'm Haya Panjwani.
The execution for a Texas death row inmate halted for the 3rd time. I'm Clayton Neville.
I don't want those people working in air traffic.
Air traffic controllers could be fired if they don't start showing up for work. I'm Bob Brown. That story ahead.
Most officials at the Federal Reserve support further interest rate cuts. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Google is calling out Oracle for a massive ransomware attack. I'm tech correspondent Chuck Palm.
Greetings, programs. It's time to return to the world of Tron. I'm Kevin Carr.
Back after these messages. America in the Morning continues with a potential soggy weekend for portions of the East Coast. Here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist LaTroy Thornton.
As the tail end of a cold front, the same one that has finally brought a fall feel to parts of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, stays largely stalled over the Florida Peninsula today. A wave of low pressure is expected to develop along this feature by late today. This developing storm may prove to be the major weather story of the weekend, and AccuWeather hurricane experts say that the resulting tropical wind and rainstorm should lift northward just off the southeast and Mid-Atlantic coast this weekend and into the start of next week before turning eastward and out to sea. Into the start of the weekend, watch for gusty onshore winds of at least 30 to 40 miles per hour from the Carolinas through the Delmarva Peninsula, with the risk for beach erosion and flooded roadways on the rise as the storm organizes and strengthens, with rain lifting farther to the north. Wet weather related to this feature comes in the form of showers and some areas of steadier rain creeping to the north through the coastal Carolinas today, but higher coverage of precipitation actually extends from coastal Georgia through mainly southern and eastern Florida, where there can be some decent downpours through the day. Other than that, the east looks dry today, with strong high pressure over New England promoting sunshine and another round of temperatures generally not far from the historical average. The plains also looks dry today, but another cold front should be able to tap into just enough moisture for some showers from Michigan through northern and western Illinois, with a thunder risk into central Missouri for a time. 2 additional active zones emerge in the west. For the southwest, tropical moisture from what was once Hurricane Priscilla continues to support some locally drenching showers and thunderstorms today from interior southern California into western Colorado. The next storm arriving in the northwest delivers some steady rain along the coast and showers as far inland as central Oregon. That's the weather across America. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist LaTroy Thornton.
You can follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. The White House is finalizing a trip for President Trump to the Middle East, where he'll take part in a signing ceremony for the ceasefire between Hamas and Israel, something the president says can lead to a broader Middle East peace. Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports that along with the president, Israelis and the Palestinians in Gaza are celebrating the end of the war, as anxious Israelis are awaiting the citizens that the terror group have held hostage in horrifying conditions for the past 2 years.
President Trump says the deal to pause the Gaza war and release both prisoners and hostages has united the world. The president calls it a moment in time, nations coming together to achieve what he says was unthinkable for millennia.
The whole world has come together for this. People that didn't get along, people that didn't like each other, neighboring countries that frankly didn't like each other, but now it's just this moment in time.
And with the last remaining Israeli hostages due to be released early next week.
That'll be a day of joy. I'm going to try and make a trip over. We're going to try and get over there. And we're working on the timing, the exact timing. We're going to go to Egypt, where we'll have a signing, an additional signing. We've already had a signing representing me, but we're going to have an official signing.
Suggesting he'll be in Egypt for an official deal signing. And while there is relief in both Gaza and Jerusalem.
We cried all morning.
Thank you, President Trump, for making this deal happen. We love you, Trump. Thank you.
There's uncertainty about parts of the Trump administration's broader ceasefire plan, like how and even if Hamas will disarm and who will govern Gaza. Israel kept up strikes on the territory even as word of a deal spread.
They'll have to do what they do. Whatever they do is fine. I know this. I didn't do it for that. I did it because I saved a lot of lives.
Sagar Meghani, Washington.
Lawsuits are working their way through federal courts regarding the White House use of National Guard troops being deployed to American cities, including Chicago and Portland. Correspondent Hayapan Jwani reports the war of words between President Trump and Illinois' Democrat governor are intensifying.
We should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military, because we're going into Chicago very soon. That's a big city with an incompetent governor, stupid governor.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker slams President Trump as his state is asking a judge to stop the National Guard deployment.
Sending troops into cities, thinking that that's some sort of proving ground for war, or that indeed there's some sort of internal war going on in the United States, is just, frankly, inane. And I'm concerned for his health.
Illinois calls the deployment a constitutional crisis and suggests that President Trump's administration gave no heed to the pending legal challenge.
Look at what ICE and CBP are doing. They're wearing fatigues. They're carrying long guns, automatic weapons.
Pritzker spoke to reporters at a news conference Thursday.
They're coming to downtown Chicago, Michigan Avenue. What is the purpose of that? It's all a show.
Members of the National Guard arrived Monday, and some are stationed at a Chicago area immigration building. In Memphis, the city's mayor says National Guard members would begin patrolling on Friday.
The National Guard is just getting here. The federal agencies have been here for about a week. Our team has been coordinating with them, and our goal is to make sure that we are doing all that we can to focus the effort on violent crime.
Also, a federal appeals court heard arguments over whether the president had the authority to take control of 200 Oregon National Guard troops. Trump has planned to deploy them in Portland, where there have been mostly small, nightly protests outside an ICE building. I'm Hayapan Jwani.
The execution for an autistic death row inmate is halted for a third time as his lawyers ask for a new trial. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports.
Robert Roberson's convicted of killing his young daughter decades ago in East Texas. His conviction surrounded the now debunked shaken baby syndrome. The 58-year-old claims to have found Nikki had fallen out of her bed in the middle of the night in 2002. The lead detective in the Roberson investigation has since raised doubts about the case. The legal process has delayed Roberson's slated execution twice before, but a new execution date was set for next week. That until Thursday, when the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals paused the execution, pointing to the debunked shaken baby syndrome and what doctors have learned on that front since the early 2000s.
We have won a battle, but we have certainly not won the war. But quite literally, our Robert lives to fight another day. And that really is a triumph.
Roberson's attorney, Gretchen Swin, says the implications of the court's decision are wide-reaching.
We had parental rights groups. We had doctors, scientists, lawyers who think that the legal system should recognize changes in scientific understanding. We had a bipartisan group of lawmakers fighting relentlessly, particularly among their Texas Republican colleagues, pushing back against them at every turn. We had disability rights groups, particularly in the autism community, who recognized how unfairly Robert had been prejudged based on symptoms of his then unrecognized autism.
One of the lawmakers who advocated for Roberson is State Rep Brian Harrison.
Mr. Robert Roberson has never, not once, been afforded due process, and he has never had a fair trial. No jury has ever had the opportunity to hear the mountain of potentially exculpatory evidence that points not only to his lack of guilt, but potentially strongly to for his actual innocence claims.
Roberson's lawyers now moving forward with hopes for a new trial for their client down the road. I'm Clayton Neville.
Flight delays by the thousands, and Oracle hit with a ransom attack. Those stories and more when America in the Morning continues after these messages. Welcome back. Here with America in the Morning. The nation's airports are dealing with daily flight delays by the thousands and increased cancellations as the federal government shutdown continues with no end in sight. Bob Brown reports that more air traffic controllers are calling in sick because they're not getting paid. But the Transportation Secretary is issuing a stern warning. Show up for work or be fired.
An increasing number of air traffic controllers call in sick because of no paycheck. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy understands their concerns. He's also worried about keeping airports up and running, even though they're already short some 3,000 controllers. Appearing on Scripps News, Duffy says he's spoken with many air traffic controllers and doesn't want to see them having to drive Ubers on the side to help pay the mortgage.
And they're mad that they might not get their paycheck when they're looking at mortgages and car payments and food on the table. So they're not coming to work. With that said, if they're sick, I'm fine with that. But if they're not showing up to work and they're calling out for other reasons and it's coordinated and they collaborate on it, I don't want those people working in air traffic, right? I'm not going to have them leverage our system, our air travel system, for political benefit. I don't like it. And so I'm willing to make changes that are necessary so that doesn't happen again in the future.
Former President Ronald Reagan fired thousands of air traffic controllers in 1981 for staging a strike. However, there was no federal shutdown at the time. I'm Bob Brown.
According to FlightAware, just over 1,000 flights in the U.S. have been canceled in the past 72 hours, and just over 20,000 flights have experienced delays since Monday. Interest rates could fall further before the year ends. Ed Donahue reports the Federal Reserve is contemplating 2 more interest rate cuts in 2025.
Most officials at the Federal Reserve support further interest rate cuts. Minutes from last month's meeting show a majority of Fed officials feel there is a greater chance unemployment would rise, and the risk of rising inflation has either diminished or not increased. Only one official formally dissented from the quarter-point rate cut in September, Stephen Myron, who was appointed by President Trump. He wanted a bigger cut, but the minutes underscore the deep division on the committee between those who feel the Fed's short-term rate is too high and weighing on the economy, and those who point to persistent inflation as a reason to remain cautious. Chair Jerome Powell explained it this way.
It's not incredibly obvious what to do. So we have to keep our eye on inflation. At the same time, we cannot ignore and must keep our eye on on maximum employment.
Ed Donahue, Washington.
The first polling in the race for New York City mayor since the current mayor, Eric Adams, dropped out of the four-man race still has Zoran Mondami in the lead, but supporters for Adams have moved to his former political rival. The Quinnipiac poll has the Democrat socialist Mondami garnering 46% of likely voters, but former New York governor and Democrat Andrew Cuomo has 33%. That's 10 points higher than a poll done 3 weeks ago. Republican and Guardian Angels founder Curtis Sliwa is in last place with 15%. Polling also found that 90% of Mondami supporters are enthusiastic about his candidacy, but voters gave Cuomo the edge on experience. America in the Morning continues. Google reports a massive corporate ransom attack on Oracle e-business suite customers, comprising data from hundreds of companies. Chuck Palm has the latest.
Google is sounding the alarm on over 100 different hosted companies on Oracle servers. Google's cybersecurity team dropped a bombshell yesterday, a sophisticated campaign exploiting a zero-day flaw in Oracle's e-business suite. These powerhouse servers host everything from customer databases to supply chains for big players worldwide. The hacking group known as Notorious Clop Crew has kicked this off early in July, pouring serious elbow grease into recon before swiping massive amounts of sensitive data from dozens, maybe even over 100 servers from large corporations. This is a classic ransom heist, extorting or stealing the goods and then squeezing payouts out of anybody whose data might be compromised. Oracle has owned up to the extortion angle last week, but went radio silent on new details. Google's Austin Larson nailed it when he said that we are aware of dozens of victims, but we expect that there's many, many more. For more, follow me on X at Chuck Palm.
Here's Friday Sports with Robert Workman.
The defending World Series champion Dodgers squeaked past the Phillies 2-1 in 11 innings last night to advance to the NL Championship Series for the 7th time in the last 10 years. A scoreless duel broken up in the 7th. Nick Castellanos doubled in the first run of the night. Then LA tied it on Mookie Betts' bases-loaded walk. Then the two relief corps shut things down again until the bottom of the 11th, when the Dodgers got a couple of singles and a walk to load them up with 2 out. Andy Pages tapped one back to the mound, but Orion Kerkering mishandled it, panicked, and threw home late. Jae-Sung Kim streaking across the plate to win it. In the other NL Division Series, the Cubs waxed the Brewers 6-0 to force a decisive Game 5 back in Milwaukee tomorrow night. Ian Happ launched a 3-run homer in the first inning. Kyle Tucker and Michael Busch added solo insurance late, and 5 pitchers held the Brew Crew to just 3 hits. Manager Craig Counsell.
Offensively, we did a really nice job of putting pressure on them often, and the crowd picked up on that, I thought, consistently.
The NL Championship Series begins on Monday, either in Milwaukee or Los Angeles. The American League Championship Series opens in Toronto on Sunday. The Blue Jays' opponent will be determined tonight when the Mariners and the Tigers meet in Seattle. NFL Week 6 kicked off last night with an upset as the Giants towered over the Eagles 34-17, handing the defending Super Bowl champs back-to-back losses after a 4-0 start. Rookie Jackson Dart ran for one first-quarter touchdown and threw for another. Then Cam Scattaboo rushed for 3 more scores.
No matter who it is, winning games is the best feeling in the world. And when you could do it at a high level, that's something that, we take pride in.
And it didn't get any better for Philly fans on the ice as the Flyers opened their season with a 2-1 loss to the Stanley Cup champion Panthers. That's Friday Sports.
When we return on America in the Morning, birthday celebrations for the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps after these messages. Heading to the movies this weekend, we're back to the grid in theaters with a new Tron film. What's new in the series? Here's Kevin Carr.
Disney revives another franchise with a new installment of Tron.
We're not going there. They are coming here.
Tron Ares follows the new CEO of Encom as she teams up with an AI warrior brought to life in the real world while trying to save her company and humanity's future.
A malfunctioning program who wants to live.
Why is that?
Like the other Tron films, this one is filled with conceptual ideas and slick visuals. It juggles a lot of themes, leaning into the Frankenstein warnings that we create our own monsters. It also serves as a $200 million cautionary tale about AI.
So much talk of AI in big tech today.
Unfortunately, story and characters take a back seat, which honestly can be said for all the Tron movies. The script info dumps backstory in the opening sequence, and it unloads most character development in a single car ride about halfway through.
I'm looking for something I do not understand.
Though a powerful soundtrack by Nine Inch Nails helps make for one heck of a music video. However, unlike the aforementioned Frankenstein, this isn't going down in history as a brilliant piece of writing.
You think you're in control of this? You're not.
Still, it's a fun film to watch, and it's definitely worth seeing on the big screen.
Hang on!
As far as Jared Leto movies go, it's definitely better than Morbius.
Ready?
Tron Ares gets 3 light cycles out of 5. I'm Kevin Carr, and that's the way I see it.
This year and next are big for American anniversaries and events. Next year will be the 250th anniversary of our independence, where we mark the United States semi-quincentennial, and America will also be one of the host nations for the 2026 World Cup. This year, we celebrate the 250th anniversary of America's Armed Forces. Correspondent Lisa Dwyer reports that the U.S. Navy and the Marine Corps have kicked off their birthday celebrations.
Despite a government shutdown that has closed many federal agencies and offices, a parade of ships streamed up and down the Delaware River by Philadelphia to kick off a celebration of the 250th birthdays of the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps, complete with a military flyover that included
4 FA-18 Super Hornets from the carrier Air Wing 3, 2 Marine Corps F-35 Lightning II, and 2 Marine Corps MV-22 Ospreys.
Among the ships that took part,
the USCGC Lawson, the USS Cooperstown, the USS Arlington, the USS Billings.
The multi-day celebration will include a reunion of veterans, a downtown street parade, and a concert featuring singer Patti LaBelle, the Navy Band, and the Marine Corps Drum and Bugle Corps. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
America in the Morning for Friday, October 10th, 2025 is produced by Jeff McKay. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One.